Here with District Attorney Ashley Rich, Public Safety Director Lawrence Batiste, and Chief of Police Roy Hodge. Our purpose this morning is actually to proclaim that this week will be Crime Victims' Rights Week, and I have a proclamation that I will present to District Attorney Rich. It says, whereas being a victim of crime and navigating the criminal justice system can be frightening and confusing, experiences, progress in improving and treatment of crime victims have been made through the efforts of thousands of victims and survivors who have turned their own experiences into a force for positive change, ensuring that others can receive justice, meaningful assistance, and compassionate treatment from the law. Whereas since the passage of the Victims of Crimes Act in 1984 and through the dedicated work of advocates, lawmakers, and victim service providers, there's a growing array of services and resources available to victims and their loved ones. And whereas honoring the rights of victims of crime include the rights to be heard and to be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect, and working to meet their needs to rebuild their trust in the criminal justice and social service systems, and whereas individuals trust in the compassion, understanding, and support of their communities to achieve through sustained, deep-rooted, and coordinated outreach, and whereas identifying, reaching, and serving all victims of crime, especially those from groups that often have less access to healing services and avenues of justice is essential, and whereas the community's continued engagement with the challenges faced by victims of crimes will ensure that the progress made to date is not lost, and that new ground is broken to create greater justice and healing of all victims. And whereas National Crimes Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to ensuring that accessible, appropriate, and trauma-informed services are offered to all victims of crime, and whereas the Mobile County District Attorney's Office is hereby dedicated to supporting the victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime, building trust among our clients and collaborating with the service providers and engaging our community in response of efforts. Now therefore, I, as Mayor of the City of Mobile, do hereby proclaim the week of April 18th through 24th, 2021 as Crime Victims' Rights Weeks. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Very much. I'm honored that Mayor Stimpson has proclaimed this National Crime Victims' Rights Week. I'm honored to be standing here with our Public Safety Director, Batiste, and our Chief, Hodge. It's a very, very important week that we have this week because we are recognizing crime victims in our community. And we are making sure that our crime victims understand that the Mobile County District Attorney's Office and the Chief of Police and the Public Safety Director and the Mayor all support crime victims. And we are here for them, not only just in the courtroom, but as a community as a whole. And this year's theme is Support Victims, Build Trust, and Engage Communities. And I think that's a very appropriate theme this year because not only are we doing the Crime Victim Vigil on Thursday of this week at Cooper Riverside Park from 6:30 to 7:30, where victims of crime can come, we're doing a resource fair. And we're going to have many of our community agencies present that will have and set up booths and give out information to crime victims to make sure that they understand that not only do we support them and not only does the justice system support them, but the community as a whole supports them. And we have so many resources available to them. Lifelines Family Counseling Center provides counseling for our victims of crime. Penelope House offers them a safe place to stay if they're a victim of domestic violence. The Drug Education Council offers them help if their family is experiencing substance abuse as a result of being a victim of a crime. We have so many different agencies that will be present to just show their support of crime victims and to make sure that they feel like there is a whole community that is surrounding them because their life has been forever changed in an instant because they were unfortunately a victim of a crime here in our community. And so we appreciate each of you coming. It's very important that we spread the word about this vigil on Thursday and that the community is behind our crime victims. And at this time, I would like to call up Public Safety Director. It's hard for me not to call him Chief Batiste. Public Safety Director Batiste.
Good morning, and we'd just like to join in the mayor's commitment to working with our district attorney's office during this crime victims week. You know, our victims, when they endure trauma in our community, they need to know that the resources that the district attorney's office and the Mobile Police Department will be called to bear to make sure that they get justice. And they also need to understand that it takes time, and so that's why it's so important that we make sure that they know that we don't forget that they have been victimized, and that we'll always be doing things that we can do to try to make sure that we bring them justice in a timely manner. And so we would ask that the community join us in supporting our victims this week. At this time, I'll turn it over to Chief Hodge.
Thanks, Greg. It's a privilege to stand here today alongside District Attorney Ashley Rich, Mayor Stimpson, and Director Batiste. Oftentimes in the criminal justice system, victims are somehow get lost in the mix. It's very important that we come together this week to help remember the victims of criminal activity, along with their families and other unintended consequences that come with criminal activity. It's an honor again to stand here today to help remember crime victims and to let them know that we have not forgotten them. And as we try to do on a daily basis, there are over 500 members of the Mobile Police Department that work hard every single day on behalf of these victims. And again, we do everything we can to help them understand that they have not been forgotten, and we do whatever we can to make this easier for them. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask? All right, well, very good. We really appreciate each one of you being here and helping us get the word out about the vigil on Thursday. Our Attorney General, Steve Marshall, will be our guest speaker at the vigil, we're pleased to announce. And we have a great program that evening, and we hope you can all join us to continue spreading the word about this important event, and that the community, everyone in this community, is basically wrapping their arms around crime victims and making sure they understand that they have people that care about them and are concerned with their court case, but not only concerned with their court case, but concerned about them, and that we want to help them heal, and we want to help them get justice in the criminal justice system. Thank you all very much for coming.